Can you use $2,000 for the holiday? If so, listen to this. Sit down. I'm going to tell you what President Trump just announced on Truth Social.
President Trump has officially confirmed and promised a $2,000 stimulus check to all Americans from the tariff revenue. So I want to be absolutely crystal clear about this. So this is not like an idea that he's floating around. It's not like, oh, he's going to consider this or he's thinking about it. No, he officially confirmed it and promised it.
If you're American, pay attention. So Trump went to Truth Social and announced he's doing $2,000 stimulus, but they're not called stimulus checks. They're in the form of dividends from the tariffs. Everyone that was against these tariffs, as they're getting these checks in the mail, are gonna quickly turn the other cheek and be pretty happy.
Thank you so much. Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. Citizens expect the $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes.
President Donald Trump is proposing to send most Americans a dividend of $2,000 per person from revenue raised by his tariffs. This is big news for the American populace because, as we know, this has not happened since 2020, when Trump was the first to implement something like this. So let's get right into the topic and cover whether this is likely to happen or not.
Can you use $2,000 for the holiday? If so, listen to this. Sit down. I'm going to tell you what President Trump just announced on Truth Social. He states just moments ago on Truth Social, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are highest ever. We are taking trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt. 37 trillion, record investments in the USA, plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Now, if you can't see what this president is doing for the American people, you are also a fool.
So, like I said, President Donald Trump is proposing to send each and every American, not including those with substantial incomes, $2,000 per person. However, the announcement came with few details as to how the money would be distributed, or whether it would be legal, as the Supreme Court is currently weighing whether the emergency powers Trump invoked to collect the tariff revenue were constitutional. William Dickens, University Distinguished Professor Emeritus of Economics and Public Policy, says while the proposal to send $2,000 stimulus checks to low and middle income Americans is politically shrewd, financially it's unrealistic. Tariff revenues cover only a fraction of the roughly $660 billion price tag needed to cover the plan to pay more than 300 million citizens, he says. And he's exactly right. The tariffs have not generated the income to legitimize this and allow this endeavor to come to fruition. Additionally, Congress would need to approve the payments. Not to mention, some economists warn that the stimulus checks would do more harm than good, fueling inflation. But what do you think? Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments down below.
President Trump has officially confirmed and promised a $2,000 stimulus check to all Americans from the tariff revenue. So I want to be absolutely crystal clear about this. So this is not like an idea that he's floating around. It's not like, oh, he's going to consider this or he's thinking about it. No, he officially confirmed it and promised it. Okay, so I want to read you what President Trump wrote on Sunday, November 9th. It begins with, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world. With almost no inflation and a record stock market price, 401ks are highest ever. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debts, 37 trillion. Record investment in the USA, plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Okay, so take a look at that last sentence. It's not we might, it's not we could, it's not we're thinking about it. It's clear, it's very clear-cut, and it's an official promise. Can President Trump really deliver on this tariff dividend, or I guess you can call it a stimulus check? First of all, if President Trump wanted to give a $2,000 stimulus check, then Congress would need to vote on it, just like they did back during the pandemic. It would have to pass in the House of Representatives with a simple majority, and then it would have to pass in the Senate with 60 votes. And I'll tell you that there is no way that they're going to get 60 votes for this. If President Trump wanted to pass this in the Senate, then he would have to do the reconciliation procedure, and that would lower the requirement down to 50 votes instead of 60. But even so, like I'm telling you, there's a There's a handful of Republicans, especially in the Senate, that are fiscal hawks, and they would refuse to go at party lines on this because of the inflation situation. So in my opinion, getting this $2,000 stimulus check to Americans would be very challenging in Congress. But listen, I'll tell you this. The only way that I see this actually going through is if the recession worsens exponentially next year in 2026, and they have to save the economy with this being the last resort. Again, that would be disastrous for inflation, but you know how they operate. You know how the politicians in DC operates. They just put out one fire at a time and they kick the can down the road.
So that was Brian Kim right there. Much respect to that guy. He's an amazing analyst and has one of the best YouTube channels that covers financial literacy to everything that's going on in the government. So I'm proud to say he basically reiterated everything that I said earlier in this video. It is a long shot to think that Trump is going to be able to pass these $2,000 stimulus checks because of the sheer inflationary aspect of it. Now, while it would help him politically, there are also those that say this wouldn't be the smartest move when Americans come to realize that everything else is far more expensive.
If you're American, pay attention. So Trump went to Truth Social and announced he's doing $2,000 stimulus, but they're not called stimulus checks. They're in the form of dividends from the tariffs. Now, it's also important to realize what's going on behind the scenes. So if you don't know, we did all these tariffs, we tariffed all these countries, all this money, and all these companies that they're doing business outside the United States, etc. Well, if you don't know, it's currently at the Supreme Court to see if this is gonna be upheld. And if it's not upheld, basically the United States that already took all this money from tariffs would have to pay it back to those companies and countries. And Trump, as you can see on his newest post, take a screenshot, is not happy. So the question is he doing this as like a chokehold on the Supreme Court? Like saying, if you guys basically block the tariffs, then you're going to deny the American people of the stimulus or the dividend. The next week and a half will be pretty crazy as the Supreme Court gives more of answers and conclusions on this situation. But I can tell you right now, the American people are going to be very pro-tariff, if you ask me. And again, everyone that was against these tariffs, as they're getting these checks in the mail, are going to quickly turn the other cheek and be pretty happy. Let me know your thoughts down below.
Yeah, I would say that the average American would be pro-stimulus checks. I mean, come on, free money, everyone's for that. While it isn't necessarily free, in the eyes of Americans that don't really understand economics, which is basically the mass majority of Americans, it's free money. But for those that understand the inflationary ramifications of such an endeavor, they most likely will have a different opinion on it. Top comment says 2K is a joke in today's economy, 10K is more like it. See what I mean? Like, this guy has no clue what he's talking about. Feasibly impossible, nor if he understood the ramifications of doing so would he even want that still. But your run-of-the-mill standard American loves the idea of free money. Guys, there is no such thing as free money, ever. Ever. You will have to work for it, or you're doing some sort of a favor for a company or a person to get money, and that's the end of it. This comment says that 2K going straight to car parts. That's exactly why they call it a stimulus check, because they know the vast majority of Americans are going to put that money right back into the economy via consumer spending. Thus stimulates businesses' bottom lines and boosts overall GDP. All right, let's go ahead and transition to today's irrelevant segment, although in this particular scenario, it's not necessarily so irrelevant.
Bro, Donald Trump is the worst president ever, dog. Government shutdown, tariffs, and no food stamps, way.
I know, bro.
I had to break up with my baby mama because they don't give her food stamps no more, dog. It hurt me more than it hurt her, vato.
Nah, yeah, I know how you feel, way.
And also, wait, they deported my uncle, vato.
Damn.
Hey, that's my familia, that's my raza. How are you gonna deport my uncle? And me not hate you? Nah, that, bro. Donald Trump, I'm never gonna like that guy, way. Neta.
Yeah, bro, I think we should burn the checks whenever we get them, way.
What check, vato? What are you talking about?
Oh, Donald Trump is gonna give out $2,000 checks to every American, way.
Pendejo.
Neta, way.
Bro, Donald Trump is not gonna give out $2,000 checks just like that, way.
No, neta, way, he just said that.
I'm checking with you.
Yeah, bro, I think we should burn it, dog. We should not accept it, neta.
Hola, verga, what the bro? He's gonna give out $2,000 checks to all the Americans.
I told you, way, he thinks that he could buy us like
What's
this.
I'm proud to be an American.
Yeah, way, as soon as we get it, we rip that. We don't need that.
Este vato.
What?
I'm not gonna rip it. ¿Estás pendejo qué?
What the Why not? Well, you said you didn't like Donald Trump, way.
Vato, bro,
Now what?
he's not that bad, way. Hey,
Oh,
wait.
this guy.
We're all mean sometimes, pa. Hey.
Vato, what about your uncle? He deported your uncle,
Vato,
way.
my uncle was a drunk, güey. Y le pegaba a mi tía, güey. No mames. La salvaron a mi tía, güey.
Bro, you said that you didn't like him. Now you like him, way. No mames.
Nah, he's not that bad, güey. Plus, I do need new rims for my truck, but
Este vato, güey.
And that's precisely why they call it a stimulus check. You give the money to the Americans and they'll give it right back, thus stimulating the economy. And although that's a skit, it's pretty accurate. When you give people what they perceive to be free money, they're all of a sudden on your side.
Thank you so much. Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. Citizens expect the $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes, and we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen, and so his team of economic advisors are looking into it, and when we have an update, we'll provide one. Trillions of dollars are expected to continue to pour in, and it's part of the reason that the Supreme Court case is so vital for our country's future, to restore our manufacturing industry in this country, to protect our national security, to continue to allow the president to use tariffs as leverage to negotiate economic deals that are good for our national security, and that revenue can then be used for various reasons, to pay down our debt and also perhaps to give these rebate checks back to Americans, which again the White House is exploring the legal options of how we can get that done.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day, this undertaking is not going to be easy. I think Donald Trump is looking for a way to kind of revive his presidency, as it hasn't been going as smoothly as he probably hoped. Donald Trump needed to become president to avoid jail time because the whole federal government was coming after him before he won the election. You gotta remember, Donald Trump got indicted not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 times did the president get indicted. And that was unprecedented at the time. These are very interesting days in American history. But I will continue to give updates on this channel as more facts continue to come out regarding these $2,000 tariff dividend checks. That's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. It'll be interesting to see if these tariff checks actually come to fruition. I'm a bit skeptical, but you never know. It wouldn't be the first time that something happened that I wasn't quite expecting in American governance. That being said, remember guys, the best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is today. The time is always right to do what is right. Thank you for watching. Peace out.